What's up, you few important people? Let's do this thing. Alright, so we got 15 minutes left of February 7th. I'm sure the world is riveted to know that the Super Bowl is tomorrow. Woo! What a great time to be alive. Seems really crazy to, like, imagine things like the Super Bowl continuing to be a big deal. I don't know how much it is a big deal. It's about as big a deal as it is to me now as it ever has been, which is I didn't know it was tomorrow. TP USA halftime. Oh my god, what do I need to know about the halftime shows? God, I know Vance got booed horribly yesterday at the Olympics. Oh boy. What's going on this evening, y'all? How y'all feeling? I haven't been like physically great today, so I have been low key. So I'm recovered enough to be up here tonight, and that was my main goal. Yeah, surviving. I'm about doing the same. See Shalvis and Jammy in here also, but not since I came up and said hi. What's going on, y'all? Guess I'll do the intro. I'm Know Nothing Attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. Because it's only in embracing that we know nothing that we can actually learn anything. And that's what we're here to do every night that we're live. I want to learn from y'all, and I hope y'all can learn with me. Wow, who is in that GIF? I don't know who that is. Anyway. What are we going to cover? Well, Maddie shared some stuff that I saw today too, but I know it's in chat thanks to her. He's not based anyway. What's going on, Maddie? Oh, that's not the right. Okay, good. That's already live. My reaction this morning to what was going on last night. He sent me a DM asking for a round 2 on the conversation, and I'm happy to continue that because it seems he's still brain broken on some immigration issues. It seems like a lot of caring about the wrong stuff right now. That's my feeling on it. That's why I'm saying he ain't based. He stopped working for her, though, especially after she talked about the Great Replacement theory. God. Imagine white people no longer being the majority. How terrifying. Why? I don't know, but terrifying. All of our white people culture. What that is, I've got no idea, but we're gonna lose it. Alright, so headline, NSA detected foreign intelligence phone call about a person close to Trump. Last spring, the NSA flagged an unusual phone call between 2 members of foreign intelligence who discussed a person close to Donald Trump. Excuse me 1 second. Woo! Woo! We're back. The highly sensitive communique, which has roiled Washington over the past week, was brought to the attention of the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, but rather than allowing NSA officials to distribute the information further, Gabbard took a paper copy of the intelligence directly to the president's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, according to the whistleblower's attorney, Andrew Bakaj. One day after meeting Wiles, Gabbard told the NSA not to publish the intelligence report. Instead, she instructed NSA officials to transmit the highly classified details directly to her office, Bakaj said. Details of this exchange between Gabbard and the NSA were shared directly with The Guardian and have not been previously reported, nor has Wiles' receipt of the intelligence report. On April 17th, a whistleblower contacted the Office of the Inspector General, alleging that Gabbard had blocked highly classified intelligence from routine dispatch, according to Bakaj, who has been briefed on details surrounding the highly sensitive phone call flagged by the NSA. The whistleblower filed a formal complaint about Gabbard's actions on the 21st of May. The Guardian reported earlier Saturday that the phone conversation was between a person associated with foreign intelligence, and a person close to Trump, based on Bakaj's recollection of the complaint, which he confirmed over multiple calls. However, after publication, Bakaj said he misspoke. He clarified his understanding of the complaint in a statement. The NSA picked up a phone call between 2 members of foreign intelligence involving someone close to the Trump White House, he said. The NSA does not monitor individuals without a reason. The person close to Trump is not understood to be an administration official or a special government employee, according to a person familiar with the matter. Bakaj said that members of the intelligence community are often referred to him for legal counsel because of his background and expertise. He previously served in the Office of the Inspector General for the CIA. Boy, are we ever going to get something, like, particularly newsworthy out of this? I feel like we're getting too many details for there to be anything worthwhile in it. A press secretary for the Office of the DNI said to The Guardian in a statement, "This story is false. Every single action taken by DNI Gabbard was fully within her legal and statutory authority, and these politically motivated attempts to manipulate highly classified information undermine the essential national security network, or the security work, being done by great Americans to the intelligence community every day. This is yet another attempt to distract from the fact that both a Biden-era and Trump-appointed Intelligence Community Inspector General already found the allegations against DNI Gabbard baseless." Yeah, legitimate reason. Yeah, so we've got, like, people completely disinterested in the well-being of America and its allies monitoring foreign intelligence through America's national security network. I wonder what all their reasons are. For 8 months, the intelligence report has been kept under lock and key, even after the whistleblower pushed to disclose details to congressional intelligence committees. Acting Inspector General Tamara A. Johnson dismissed the complaint at the end of a 14-day review period, writing in his June 6 letter addressed to the whistleblower that the Inspector General could not determine if the allegations appear credible. Gabbard's office issued its first public acknowledgement of the highly sensitive complaint in a letter addressed to lawmakers on Tuesday, one day after the Wall Street Journal reported on the classified brief. It was posted to the ODNI's X account, including claims that the Inspector General had not informed Gabbard of her obligations to transmit the complaint to Congress. Wow. Wow. Because said that the ODNI's office cited various reasons for the delay in intelligence sharing, including the complaint's top secret classification, the fall government shutdown, and the intelligence community Inspector General's failure to notify Gabbard of her reporting requirements. We didn't do what we're supposed to because somebody didn't tell us to. To MAGA is to hate, Elaney. I think our conversation with William last night made that pretty clear. Made it pretty clear. Even he was struggling to say that it wasn't hate. He kept trying, but couldn't substantiate it. 2 attorneys and 2 former intelligence professionals who reviewed details of the incident and ensuing complaint shared with The Guardian have identified that what they believe are a series of procedural anomalies that raise questions about Gabbard's handling of national intelligence and the whistleblower disclosure, which was reported to the Inspector General as a matter of urgent concern. Members of the Gang of 8, a group of Senate and House leaders privy to classified information from the executive branch, received a heavily redacted version for review on Tuesday night. They have disagreed about the legality of Gabbard's conduct, as well as the credibility of the whistleblower complaint. 2 Republican lawmakers dismissed its credibility and backed Gabbard's conduct, including the Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, oh boy, who said in a statement on X that the DNI took the necessary steps to ensure the material has handled and transmitted appropriately in accordance with law. But come on, Tulsi didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to tell Congress. The Democrats have raised questions about the delay. I mean, to be clear, if Congress isn't going to do anything about it, I don't have to tell Congress. When a whistleblower makes a complaint and wants to get it before Congress, the agency has 21 days to relay it, said the Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, the senior Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, in a Thursday press conference. This whistleblower complaint was issued in May. We didn't receive it until February. Yeah, that's shady. Warner said that the months-long delay reflected an effort to bury the complaint. The contents of the whistleblower complaint are still largely unknown. Bakaj, the whistleblower's attorney, said that Gabbard's office had redacted much of the complaint that was released to Intelligence Committee members on Tuesday, citing executive privilege. I don't know the contents of the complaint, but by exercising executive privilege, they are flagging that it involves presidential action, he said. On February 3rd, Bakaj again requested guidance from Gabbard's office about how to share whistleblowers' full report while taking appropriate precautions. Geez, this is a... okay. Requesting underlying intelligence. The appointment of a highly partisan advocate for prioritizing personal loyalty to President Trump above independence and professionalism in the federal government, and one who apparently answers to DNI Gabbard rather than to you, in a senior role within the Intelligence Community Inspector General's office, raises troubling questions about the independence of the ICIG, Lynch wrote. Yep. I mean, so the news, quote-unquote, from this is that the DNI is hiding information about Trump and his allies from Congress. That's not huge news. It's horrifying and terrible, but not surprising in the least. We've got Marine Le Pen here that basically had the same defense about the illegal use of European Union fundings that she diverted and used to recruit people working for her party instead of working at the EU Assembly. But I didn't know. No one told me. And I'm sure that's going to be the same excuse used when called out over here for using American funds, American taxpayer dollars, to fund far-right groups in Europe. Yay. No one told me that I'm not supposed to do that. This is old. What do we got now? What is this even? Actually, I do think that Maddie put something else in the Discord regarding that same story. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Ah. I wasn't imagining things. Trump's tie to whistleblower report Tulsi hid in safe busted. I don't need to hear about their sexual life. Anyway. Oh, God. Fine. The whistleblower complaint that Trump's spy chief locked away in a safe implicated someone with close ties to the president of having contact with foreign intelligence. A whistleblower's lawyer told The Guardian that last spring the National Security Agency detected what the outlet reported on Saturday as an unusual call between someone associated with foreign intelligence and an individual close to President Donald Trump. When DNI Tulsi Gabbard was informed, she took a paper copy of the memo to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. The day after the meeting, she instructed the NSA to send the highly classified details to her office instead of publishing them. Gabbard was accused of hiding the complaint. The whistleblower then filed a formal complaint in May. A leaked memo revealed that the complaint accused Gabbard of refusing to share a highly classified intelligence report for political purposes. Tamara Johnson, the Inspector General at the time, dismissed the complaint last June because she could not determine if the allegations appear credible. The NSA detected a phone call between foreign intelligence and a person close to Trump last spring. Your story is false. This headline is not accurate. Your leaker lied to you, and you ignored our request to give us time to get you accurate information and published your story before we could respond. You're a total loser, being used by your sources, likely Congress, to leak highly classified information. I love the perpetuation of childlike insults that have started with Donald Trump. You're a loser. You're a loser. We can't have serious adult conversations anymore. Because, like, adult children are now running politics in this country. We used to have somewhat serious people. Gabbard claimed in a nearly 600-word X-post. Okay. Thanks for that. What is this ad? I love you, robot Spanish tutor. Right? True. Gabbard claimed in a nearly 600-word X-post on Saturday that Johnson did not inform her that the whistleblower wanted to take the complaint to Congress. While she knew about the complaint and confirmed that it was kept in a safe, she denied that she hid the information and first saw the complaint 2 weeks ago. What? Oh, wow. The truth, I am not now, nor have I ever been in possession or control of the whistleblower's complaint, so I obviously could not have hidden it in a safe. Biden-era IC Inspector General Tamara Johnson was in possession of and responsible for securing the complaint for months. The first time I saw the whistleblower complaint was 2 weeks ago, when I had to review it to provide guidance on how it should be securely shared with Congress. As Vice Chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Warner knows very well that whistleblower complaints that contain highly classified and compartmented intelligence, even if they contain baseless allegations like this one, must be secured in a safe, which the Biden-era Inspector General Tamara Johnson did, and her successor, Inspector General Chris Fox, continued to do. After IC Inspector General Fox hand-delivered the complaint to the Gang of Eight, the complaint was returned to a safe where it remains, consistent with any information of such sensitivity. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. No, thank you. I don't need to read that much, like, defensiveness. Somewhat key word here. Trump also became possible because they were somewhat serious. Oh, yeah, yep. We read that. Okay, well. What is this?
Governor Abbott has endorsed our campaign for comptroller
Fuck
because
Governor
I'm
Abbott.
a conservative he can trust. We work
for them to straighten it out. We have our director of
Governor Abbott doesn't believe in rights.
national and international intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's doing a great job. Where's Tulsi? She took a lot of heat 2 days ago because she went in at Pam's insistence.
I'm not a huge fan of this site, but it seems to be the one that's compiled most of it. What do you mean? Compiled most of what? The DNI whistleblower complaint?
She went in and she looked at votes that want to be checked out from Georgia. They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart. And they said, well, this has to do, her position has to do, it's really not so, but her position has to do with international. I say, well, the same people that said that, they've been saying Russia has been screwing our elections, okay? So let's assume Russia had something to do with it.
The people who proved that Russia interfered with our elections? What? Huh? I'm sorry. At this point, what is the Russia hoax? What are they claiming it to be?
They say, no, Russia didn't have. So now they're saying Russia had nothing to do with it. Because if I say Russia, that it's perfectly fine. But you could add China and about 5 other countries to it. But she's done a great job, and Pam has done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it both. I haven't seen you in a couple of days.
So is he saying that Russia didn't interfere with our elections, or other countries also did? What? Okay. I wonder if William is going to come back tonight. He asked me to talk again, so we'll see. National Prayer Breakfast is a atrocious phrase, yeah. Good morning to the other side of the pond. Good morning, Das Stork. Sigh. Every day, like, I've started to think, like, I'm way too stressed all the time. Like, why am I so stressed all the time? I had reached a point where I had a good management of my stress. And then I just have to remind myself how fucking crazy everything is. Everything's way too fucking crazy. National Damnation Dinner. What is Midnight Feast is a thing. That was the latest murder mystery book we read for my murder mystery book club. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to message William, tell him I'm live. Oh, he sent me a friend request too. I'm now friends with William on Discord. The only way we can make that National Prayer Breakfast worse is Daft Tracks. Have you checked the files yet? Yeah, we've looked at some of the files a few nights ago. The only way we can make that National Prayer Breakfast worse is by making it a brunch instead. National Heresy Second Breakfast. Man drives car into pedestrians at grocery store in California mountain town. It sure is weird how frequent it is that people drive their cars into a grocery store. That is way too common of an occurrence. I don't understand it. World food prices ease. Scientists challenge eclipse sensing trees. Blame weather and lightning for forest signals. What the fuck? Virginia House passes bill to ban sale of assault-style weapons. Cool. Kushner Witkoff visits USS Abraham Lincoln carrier amid tensions with Iran. What else we got? Nothing really interesting over here. Been a while since we checked on Minnesota, so I want to check in on the Minnesota subreddit real quick. This is not the right... Oh. Whoops. There we go. I keep forgetting and reminding myself that we are in a nation that is building concentration camps with incinerators, and I am just like constantly re-stressing myself out by forgetting that. I'm so weirded out by ground news interface using blue for left and red for right. I'm sorry, Shalvis. That's just America. Sam Daft-Trax, how are you doing tonight? Dildos! Let's go! It's the same level of US screaming we're different than using imperial system instead of metric. I mean, what I imagine it is, I don't know this for a fact, but what I imagine it is that the Republican Party previously used to be the nation's left-wing party. And so if you trace it back to that, it kind of makes sense. DHS again denies Minnesota members of Congress access to the Whipple building. You know, something that is within Congress's rights to do is visit these detention centers. So they're just being unconstitutionally denied access. Just found out that Richard Dawkins knew about Epstein. He's in the emails with Larry Krauss. Oh, God. Yeah, I think the Democrats were the historical pro-slave, right? I'm trying to remember when the modern Democratic Party came around. Found in 1828. So yeah. That'd be right. After Kennedy died. Oh, you mean not like I just mean like the party that became the modern Democratic Party. Because I mean we've had a bunch of different parties throughout American history. No justice, just ICE. ICE told nurses this Minneapolis man purposely ran headfirst into a brick wall. What actually happened is that they pulled him from a car, beat him so viciously with a steel baton that he had 8 skull fractures, 5 life-threatening brain hemorrhages, and couldn't remember he had a daughter. Wow, so we know what happened to him now, huh? Albert Castaneda Mondragon says his memory was so jumbled after a beating by immigration officers. Oh, he's alive? I can't believe he's alive. He initially could not remember he had a daughter and still struggles to recall treasured moments like the night he taught her to dance. but the violence he endured last month in Minnesota while being detained is seared into his battered brain. He remembers immigration and customs enforcement agents pulling him from a friend's car on January 8th outside a St. Paul shopping center and throwing him to the ground, handcuffing him, then punching him and striking his head with a steel baton. That's attempted murder. That's attempted murder. God. That's a nightmare, dude. We live in a nightmare.
Dispersal are available to you, south and west. You have 3 minutes to disperse.
We have 3 minutes.
Continue to obstruct, resist, or interfere with peace officers.
Unlawful assembly?
Violating Minnesota Statute 609.50, obstructing legal process, which would be an additional crime.
All right, 3 minutes. We gotta go.
Wow. Minnesota state authorities deploy LRAD on protesters after declaring unlawful assembly outside Whipple. The protesters are not blocking the road, and it is 2 p.m. on a Saturday.
You got a horrible haircut, by the way. It's a bob. I'm bald, but it looks like shit. You need to get some act.
Lang arrived in a U-Haul and his people opened the back door, bear maced some people. At least 5 were sprayed and needed help, and the sheriffs did nothing but announce, "Get out of the road." People threw rubber dildos because the sheriffs were so fucking useless. Sheriffs called in riot police, and here we are. Wow. LRAD. Long-range acoustical device. Developed by Genesis Inc. is a specialized high-intensity hailing system used to send clear, audible voice messages and warning tones over long distances. Operating at an acoustic hailing device, it focuses sound in a narrow beam to communicate or disperse crowds with capabilities reaching up to 5,500 meters. The Smile entity. I'm not going to convince you of the truth, but hello, I am tired, meow. What truth are you talking about, Smile entity? Really curious what truth you're bringing to the table. Renee was not the first person killed, and she was not the last, Becca Good said. You know my wife's name, and you know Alex's name, but there are many others in the city being harmed that you don't know. Their families are hurting just like mine, even if they don't look like mine. Amen. I'm really glad that Mondragon is alive. And that he's telling his story so that we know what happened to the immigrant who supposedly bashed his own head into a brick wall multiple times. Or the detainee. Yeah, immigrant. Alright. Let's look at politics. Oh, need to update this. NBC's muting of boos for JD Vance at the Olympics felt like reality distortion. Oh my god, I totally forgot when we played the video of the boos last night with the Olympic committee begging people not to boo Vance. That is so beautiful. The modern Olympics sell themselves on a simple premise. Whoa. The whole world watching the same moment at the same time. On Friday night in Milan, that illusion fractured in real time. When Team USA entered the San Siro during the Parade of Nations, the speed skater Aaron Jackson led the delegation into a wall of cheers. Moments later, when cameras cut to US Vice President J.D. Vance and the Second Lady Usha Vance, large sections of the crowd responded with boos. Not subtle ones, but audible and sustained ones. Canadian viewers heard them. Journalists seated in the press tribunes in the upper deck, myself included, clearly heard them. But as I quickly realized from a group chat with friends back home, American viewers watching NBC did not. On its own, the situation might at once have passed unnoticed, but the defining feature of the modern sports media landscape is that no single broadcaster controls the moment anymore. CBC carried it, the BBC live blocked it, fans clipped it. Within minutes, multiple versions of the same happening were circulating online, some with boos, some without, turning what might once have been a routine production call into a case study in information asymmetry. For its part, NBC has denied editing the crowd audio, although it is difficult to resolve why the boos so audible in the stadium and on other broadcasts were absent for US viewers. But in a broader sense, it is becoming harder, not easier, to curate reality when the rest of the world is holding up its own camera angles. And that raises an uncomfortable question as the United States moves toward hosting two of the largest sporting events on the planet, the 2026 Men's World Cup and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Great timing on all of that, by the way. Excellent timing. I'm glad that we can have all of these major world events in the US during the most fascist regime of American history. Incredible. Love that. Let's see, can we get a comparison? What? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I supposed to be getting something out of this clip? Cool. We also had the Olympics in the 30s. I mean, Germany should give context. Like, what the fuck? What is with the timing of that shit? Well, couldn't really find a comparison of news footage there. I mean, I guess here, we'll go back. Look at NBC. Hold on here. Wow. Okay. Stop. Stop. Okay. Olympic. Booze. Vance. NBC.
NBC was caught lying about the reception that J.D. Vance got at the Olympic opening ceremonies. This is what they broadcast on live TV.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh, those are not, those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause.
Whistling, jeering, some applause. They made it sound like the entire stadium was booing and barely any respect was paid towards the Vice President of the United States. And I didn't really hear that. It didn't sound like there was a lot of booing. In fact, I heard cheers going on in the background. And unfortunately for NBC, we have this new invention. It's called the smartphone, and everyone has one. And especially at huge events like the opening ceremonies for the Olympics, there are people live streaming this to their Facebook accounts, maybe here on YouTube, and you can just go online and see footage from this exact moment. This is what it actually looked like in real life. As you could see there, it was the exact same moment as what they broadcast on NBC. You saw the screens, the big jumbotrons in the arena show J.D. Vance and his wife Usha, and the crowd was still cheering. Now, to be fair, you did hear some boos, but to me it was more of a scattered smattering of boos. It's not as if that was the overwhelming response, but that's what they made it sound like on NBC. In fact, one of the people viewing was live streaming this to her Facebook, and you could hear her...
Wait. Now I'm confused. Because this article seems to claim the opposite. This guy seems to be saying that NBC edited boos into the video?
Booing as well as some of the people around her, but the overwhelming sound that I got were cheers for Team USA and J.D. Vance. Again, you can hear the clap.
Huh. Okay,
This might be the funniest that
here's the
censorship
alternate
has ever
take.
been. J.D. Vance was booed during the Olympics opening ceremonies as fans in the stadium gave voice to the feelings of people around the world. But American viewers wouldn't have known. NBC cut away from the VP right away and didn't mention it.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh, those are not, those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering.
This might not sound like a big deal, and it is pretty funny, but it is also important. The Olympics are about athletics, but they have deep political significance. Think about Jesse Owens winning in Berlin in 1936. Tommy Smith and John
So you're
Carlos
not going to play the
protested
audio from some other source. Okay, what if we do BBC? Vince? What is this thumbnail? Hold on. What is this thumbnail? Vince booed at Olympics? Breaking news? Careful there? What's careful with what? What's up? What am I missing? What about JD? What am I being careful about? Am I not able to get any other footage of him being booed at the Olympics? Our next president, apparently. Well, when Trump kicks the bucket, that is true. Inevitably kicks the bucket. All right. Back to Reddit links, because I apparently can't get footage of Vance being booed at the Olympics. Trump accused of role in Epstein's death and tips sent to FBI files reveal. Jeffrey Epstein's brother alleges Trump's role in his death. U.S. Senate Republicans block attempt to sue Trump administration over the Epstein files. Oh, joy. Republicans, the moral heroes of America. If the election gets rigged, well, I mean, the elections won't have to be rigged for Vance to become our next president. If Trump, as it seems will be likely, kicks the bucket sometime soon, Vance will just become the next president. That's just the default. That's how it works. There we go. Oh boy.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha. Ooh, those are not. Those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause. Not a long shot of him.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha. Ooh, those are not.
But that's just the same clip. That's the NBC clip. I'm looking for some other clip. From some other news source. What is that? Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, submitted an online tip to the FBI in February 2023. 2023? Alleging that Donald Trump authorized his brother's murder in prison. Mark Epstein confirmed to The Independent that he sent the tip, which claimed Jeffrey Epstein was killed to prevent him from naming names. Despite providing his contact details, Mark Epstein stated that neither the FBI nor any other law enforcement agency followed up on his claim. The Department of Justice, in a January 2024 press release, described such claims against Donald Trump as unfounded and false, suggesting they might be fake or falsely submitted. Mark Epstein has consistently maintained his belief that his brother was murdered and possessed compromising information on powerful individuals, including Donald Trump. That seems to be corroborated by his own emails with his brother. Is that the entirety of the story? On February 22nd, on February 22nd, 2023, Mark Epstein submitted an online tip to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center alleging that Epstein was murdered in his prison cell at the Metropolitan Corrections Center in New York in 2019 following his conviction on child sex offenses rather than dying by suicide. As seen in the files, it was then forwarded by an unidentified threat intake examiner at the FBI NTOC to a special agent. The disgraced financier's brother included his personal contact information and IP address in the submission, both of which are redacted in the publicly released file. Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in his jail cell. The tip jail cell, the tip read. I have reason to believe he was killed because he was about to name names. Cool. More than 30 Republicans are leaving Congress now. It was up 29 last we checked. Now it's more than 30. I wonder if it's to get their families out of the U.S. From Epstein to Bezos, the ruling class is rotten to its core. Yeah, no shit, that has always been the case. Welcome to capitalism. Religious Freedom Group says U.S. military members were pressured by commanders to see Melania. Wow. How is Melania doing on Rotten Tomatoes? Ha 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 ha. And 8%. Wow. Wow. Very well done. Great music. Awesome representation of Melania. Beautiful movie. Great audience reviews. Great audience reviews. Great movie. Really enjoyed it. My friend who's a Democrat enjoyed it too. Excellent. Very well done. I would see it again. How does it look from top critics? Oh, sorry. Verified audience. Wow. Okay. Great documentary. Very interesting. It was entertaining and informative on inaugural events? What? Let's see what top critics have to say. Inaugural events. That's what we all went to see, right? Have you heard of the Section 230 bipartisan sunset bill? No, I haven't. Das Stork, you know exactly how it got such a good popcorn meter. First time chatter, iconic Kyo. I hate people who try to talk about politics and then barely even finished high school because 9/10 of these people are just racist or don't even understand the economy or how issues like inflation come from decades of neglect, not just this one guy who just showed up last year. Well, the one guy who showed up last year also didn't show up last year, but also is making huge moves to destroy the American economy, so... I feel like you're on both sides of the fence here. Like, either they're on the right and they have barely finished high school, or they're on the left and... I mean, I guess people on either side of the fence don't have a good enough view of economics to have a good opinion on it. That being said, I'm not hugely versed on economics, but that's the least of my concerns in America right now. It is a major concern. Had the worst January jobs report. I heard one person say since 2009, but I've also seen it reported it's the worst January jobs report since the Great Depression, so that's not great. Well, the thing, Das Stork, is it's not only review bombing, or the opposite of review bombing, review boosting. It's review boosting plus they're the only people seeing the movie. No one else is going to go see this movie except the critics, and the critics are destroying it. We keep winning. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is sliding with the Heritage Foundation? What does that mean? Oh, siding. No way, JGL? JGL loves the Heritage Foundation? That's insane. Oh, I'm sure 1,000 plus people didn't even watch that. Well, I mean, actually, the box office apparently has been good. I haven't seen the box office numbers, but I understand the box office numbers have been good for Melania. Hey, stop it. You see more of this box here. Thank you. They're like, Harper was great. Oh yeah, the guy who was too afraid to expand our economy was great. And the only reason why Canada did better during the 2008 crisis was because our banks were tighter than my Spanx. Guy who was too afraid to expand our economy? What are you talking about? This documentary doesn't absolve any sins. It highlights them. Melania taunts the viewer and takes glee in the assumption that they can't do anything about it. Its defining trait is that it's numbingly, agonizingly dull. It's not just that this is some self-serving spectacle, it's that it's a bad, totally unentertaining, self-serving spectacle. It's the most depressing experience I have ever had in the cinema. It's true, a film that could have been authored by Hello Magazine, but isn't there some value in seeing how someone wants to be seen? There's also no shame in being in it for the rich lifestyle porn. On that count, it delivers handsomely. What is this review? What is that? Same MAGA that went to watch it over and over again, or just bought a bunch of tickets. They can just buy a bunch of tickets. I'm Canadian, it's a lonely world trying to talk about Canadian politics, and everyone is like focusing on America just shooting each other. Well, to be honest, America should be everybody's concern right now. American politics right now should be everyone's concern for good reason. For the same reason, well, not even the same reason, for similar reasons to why Germany in the 1930s should have been everybody's concern. Plus, America is just this massive superpower that is far more powerful than everybody else around it. Germany wasn't that. They're literally living their lives by proxy. Yeah. Oh, stop censoring conservatives. How about just stop censoring disinformation? Or, I mean, don't stop. How about we just censor disinformation? And maybe that's what's happening? Not that it's about conservatives versus lefties. Really, that's the bottom of the page. That's the best I got. Okay. Just before Christmas 2025, a bipartisan coalition of U.S. senators, including Lindsey Graham, Dick Durbin, Josh Hawley, Amy Klobuchar, Marsha Blackburn, and Ashley Moody. I'm remembering a part of our conversation last night where William kept talking about all the propaganda that they're feeding kids, and then asked what propaganda they're feeding kids. He couldn't say. We Germans don't like to talk about our politics too at the moment. We got an ultra-capitalist chancellor, and the AfD probably get in a state government this year. About that, in France, our assembly just voted a ban on about 15, on less than 15 on social media. Good. Kids shouldn't be on social media. I mean, yeah, America is important, but I'm also just a rural Canadian, but Trump already doesn't want to negotiate with Canada, so we are now becoming buddies with China. It's not necessarily about whether Trump doesn't negotiate with you. It's about what was previously called by some people the leader of the free world, like destroying individual rights, and then becoming a military threat to those around it. That should be everybody's concern. I'm from Australia, and American politics gets just as much domestic airtime resources devoted to it as our regional politics. We view it as diametrically intrinsic to our own politics because of the AUK-US relationship. Not good. I, for one, wish we'd just end AUK-US and chart a source as a middle power. It'd be far more beneficial to us in the long term. Not good at all because it means control on identity. How do you control if someone is under 15 or not? I mean, that's a good point. You're right. It's good that people under 15 shouldn't be on social media. It's not good for the state to control that. I will agree with you. I mean, everyone knew that and voted, and America voted for Trump, so it was everyone's concern. But now he's the recognized president, and people got to protect their countries too, you know? I don't understand what you're saying, Iconic Keo. Doesn't that mean that they should be paying attention to American politics? Oh, you mean protect their countries from more of that happening on the inside? I would still say that that means that American politics are very important at this point. What do we got here? JGL. The 500 Days of Summer Star? Wow. Okay. Last year, Durbin and Senator Lindsey Graham introduced the Sunset Section 230 Act, which would repeal the provision that protects major tech companies from being held legally responsible for third-party or user-generated content on their platforms. The law, advocates of the reform say, was originally intended to protect fledgling internet companies, but has been stretched far beyond its original purpose and is now dangerously out of date. As a result, children, families, and other victims are routinely denied justice and barred from ever getting their day in court. So what is your alternative view of how social media sites should be legally liable? What is the view on that? Boy, that's dangerous. Section 230, which dates to 1996, immunizes interactive computer services from being held legally responsible both for hosting user content and for blocking content that is obscene or objectionable. These immunities sought to encourage a competitive, decentralized, and open internet ecosystem while preventing the widespread proliferation of pornography on the early internet. Nowadays, however, 230 allows big tech companies like Meta, Alphabet, Snap, TikTok, and X to escape liability for addicting kids, exposing users to a constant deluge of dangerous, toxic, and erotic content, and silencing conservative voices. God, the snowflake mentality is just so constant and pervasive. First time chatter, Cyber Mentor. I wonder why the leftists are against Jeffrey Epstein. They are on the same side. Both love killing fetus and kids, grooming them at elementary school, but it's only bad if Trump do it? Cyber, the way you type is very concerning. And funny things you guys can't answer denying it because you will turn against your own community by contradicting me? The fuck are you talking about, dude? Cyber Mentor, are you up for chatting over voice chat? Pre-screening user content would restrict free speech, especially if it goes against the government, like posting Epstein files on social media. Yeah. No answer as all the others. Hey, no, I just asked you if you want to come do a voice chat. Come do a voice chat. Let's talk about it. Also, you didn't even ask a question, so... yeah, right? Are you scared, Cyber Mentor? Question mark, dot, dot, space, question mark? Yeah, I'll answer. Come up in voice chat. Oh, you coward. You crybaby snowflake coward. You wuss. No, the left is not like Epstein at all. Aw, poor baby Cyber Mentor. That dude has been going around to left-wing politics streams and copy-pasting that same comment over and over again before being banned. I'm not gonna ban him. He's just a wuss. Cyber Mentor is just a coward. I mean, his statement doesn't even make any sense. Not clear most of them even know what's going on since they are preoccupied with virtue signaling their respectability and thus not investigating conspiracy theories. I'm not sure what to make of that either. He's copy-pasting that? I mean... Hey, Cyber, do you drink water? What's your favorite necessary fluid to live? You drink water with ice? I imagine Epstein did that too. How are you so like Epstein and you're just fine with it? It also hit this, oh my god, the comment. So, killing fetuses and grooming kids at elementary school. This is A, something you're applying to the left, but also B, something you're applying to Trump. So you're saying Trump loves killing fetuses and grooming kids at elementary school. Oh, also loves killing kids. Who the fuck is killing kids? What are you talking about? Hey, Cyber, what is my side? What is my take on Epstein? Come up in voice chat, coward. What? Are you saying that I'm saying that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill kids? I'm asking about... You're saying the left kills kids. What are you talking about? Pizzagate was a psyop on 4chan by Epstein World to hyper-focus on the code word pizza and direct attacks against Democrats during the 2016 primaries. Yeah, what the fuck? Pizzagate, why did we start talking about Pizzagate? Pro-choice is killing kids? No, it's not. Hello? You have no evidence that fetuses are people. Yeah, I'm sure I want to talk. I keep calling you a coward. Are you sure that you don't want to talk? Get up here. You don't seem very fast? Cyber... Yeah, no evidence. You have no logical way to explain that fetuses are people. It's not scientifically supported. It's not logically supported. It's not biblically supported. You have no way. In most states, it's not a double homicide. We've actually looked that up on stream before, Cyber Mentor. In most states, it's a completely separately defined crime. No, you made the point, idiot. I'm disproving your point, not saying that that point makes it not homicide. Or that it's wrong. What? Dude, you cannot keep pace with your own thoughts. Amazing that people who hate Trump so much don't know about the best dirt on him. Cyber, you just asked me, am I sure that I want to talk? Come chat. Stop being a coward and come chat. I am a real leftist. For sure I'm a leftist. Because I'm not a monster. Ooh, yeah, not gonna allow you to use slurs. Yeah, I'll defend my side. Just come on up and voice chat. You wanted to question whether I actually wanted to chat. You come up here and chat. Oh, slurs, boo-hoo. Yeah, it's kind of a bad thing to say. Kind of makes you a piece of shit. So come on up and voice chat here. I'll post the Discord invite or the link. Who here is calling everyone on the right a Nazi? Sorry, yeah, who here is calling everyone on the right a Nazi? Who did that? Have you been on the internet, brother? Are you talking about me, or are you talking about someone else? Because I neither called everyone on the right a Nazi, and I didn't say it was okay to call everyone on the right a Nazi, so who are you talking to, Cyber? Hey, Cyber, voice chat's open. No, I don't know what you're saying, actually. And I think you're confusing with most people saying that people on the right are Nazis, with most people on the right being fascists. And right now they are fascists. MAGA is a fascist movement. That's true. Warriors, come out to play, yay. Cyber, I'm in voice chat right now. I am sitting here waiting. You come on up. Don't be a coward. And calling ICE and Trump Nazis is only technically incorrect, but in comparing them to Nazis, that's very accurate. It's... Hey Cyber, do you believe in the Great Replacement theory, or you think black people are culturally inferior? Oh, boo-hoo! Oh... Coward, little baby. I won't come. Don't wait on me. If you don't want to continue, it's fine. I'll just try to find someone else to contradict my point on the similarity between the left agenda and Jeffrey. Sorry, what's the left agenda? You can be a coward. That's fine. I'll just remind you you're a coward constantly. This dude's grasp of English. Yeah, I'm trying not to criticize his way of talking. Like, if English isn't his first language, then that's fine. They're welcome to be incredibly wrong on everything they say without English being their first language. Okay, Cyber, I'm going to reject that post, but I will respond to it. You're saying they're trying to groom kids in elementary school. What are they trying to groom kids into? What is the left trying to groom kids into? Bro, no, just answer the question, coward. How many different ways do you want to prove you're a coward? Stop acting and man up and say it? No, I'm asking for you to defend your point. So stop being a coward and say what you're talking about. Say what you're talking about, coward. The left is trying to groom your children to not be assholes, but people are defiant about that, apparently. Yeah, remember when Republicans started getting upset about, like, Sesame Street teaching children that sharing is important? That sharing is nice and a morally good action? The right is literally anti-morality now. Okay, putting the LGBTQ flag in elementary school and book about trans, and you think it's normal to try to bring a 5-year-old into going from a gender to another. So what are they teaching in school? So LGBTQ flag. Tell me what's wrong with the LGBTQ flag being presented in school. What does the LGBTQ flag say? Even just social and emotional learning, that's an actual educational concept that essentially means being kind and sensitive, right? You think diversity is good. Okay, that's one thing the LGBTQ flag communicates. Diversity is good, all right. What else does the LGBTQ flag say, Cyber Mentor? It says that you're okay with destroying the concept of life for reproduction of humans. Okay, how does LGBTQ destroy the concept of life for reproduction of humans? How does LGBTQ communicate that? Let's say we go your way and everybody gays. Okay, so now you're just wrong. Nobody on the left wants everyone to be gay. How many generations do you think we can last? Not everyone... No one's saying everybody should be gay. Oh boy, I only came out as bisexual/pansexual at 19 and non-binary trans at 30. All of my education is public. This ought to be good. Liar. Alright, point me to someone, any person who has said everyone should be gay. Normally I ask for politicians or public political leaders. Let's just say anyone. Where has anyone said that everyone should be gay? I literally have a child. Good question, Daft Yeah, well, you should defend your point, is what you should do, because you thinking that that's true and not having a reference on hand to point to this thing you believe just shows that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you're both a coward and ignorant. And just a hateful bigot. A coward, ignorant, and a hateful bigot. You don't know what you're talking about, Cybermentor. That's the problem. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just afraid of a world that doesn't exist. I'm not distracting. I am digging into your points. Whose points do you think I'm talking about, Cybermentor? I didn't come up with this bullshit, you did. First time chatter, the moment a trans person says you are a transphobe for not wanting to date a biological male could equal to someone saying you should be gay. What? You think I come here with a fucking PowerPoint? I expect you to have some defensible basis for your opinions. Do you have no defensible basis for your opinions? We would respect you more for having a PowerPoint, for sure. Athena, dude telling children about the diversity of actual human life isn't forcing them to be anything. What do you think that telling white kids about kids that aren't white will make those white kids want to be not white? Brother, see, that's what I was talking about. You twisted this entire conversation is not answer my first comment. No, we are digging into your first comment. We are doing it. We're doing it right now. I'm getting you to tell me what the left's position is, and then we are getting you to defend your position on what the left's position is. And you can't fucking do it. Your position is the left wants everyone to be gay, and you can't point to a single person who has ever said that. Yeah, stop being a coward, Cybermentor. You don't know what the left agenda is. You're saying something that you think it is, and you can't defend it. You don't know what you're talking about. You continue to prove yourself to be completely ignorant of facts. Why are you talking about politics if you know nothing about Oh my god, my guy, you're just funny. You're a funny, coward, bigot, ignorant person. Projecting sexual intent onto elementary school inclusion is creepy as hell. Like, seriously. You haven't answered any question. You just answering me by asking questions. Right, because I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about when you say that the left shares positions with Epstein. So I have to ask you what you think those positions are. It's not hard to understand, Cybermentor. So first off, you think that the left wants everyone to be gay, so that's not correct. What's another position the left holds? Well, Cybermentor, I hate to break it to you, I don't think everyone should be gay. I'm not gay. I'm a big fan of women. If you actually think that being trans and or gay is something that children are being forced to identify as, please point to a specific piece of curriculum that does that. We're not even there, Athena. We haven't even gotten there yet. We're trying to get to the point where anyone thinks that all people should be gay. He's literally respecting your point enough to provide a larger platform for your statements. It's true. I am letting you explain yourself, Cybermentor. It's not a generality. You said it's the left's position. Is it or is it not the left's position? Well, hold on. Did I mischaracterize what you said? You are okay with destroying the concept of life for reproduction of humans. Let's say you have it your way and everybody gays. You're saying my way is that everybody gays. It is no one's position that everybody gays. It is no one's position that everybody gays. as a verb. I know, right? So are you backing off of the position that is my position or anyone's position that everyone should be gay? Here, let me simplify it for you, Cyber Mentor. It is my position that people should be allowed to be gay. Do you think people should be allowed to be gay? Your agenda is pushing converting kids into gays and trans. No, I don't want to convert anyone. Even if it's not all of the class, because not all of them are as easy to groom as you thought. It's very bad or for long term. No one's pushing it on kids. I'm glad we agree people should be allowed to be gay. Should people be allowed to be trans? True, Christians are up in here hard converting kids, forcing the Bible into my state's classrooms. Love that. Actually, I hate that, and I think it's a travesty, and I think it's a crime against humanity. Hey, Cyber Mentor, do you support the Bible being forced into public schools? No. It is not a leftist position to want to convert children. That doesn't exist. So you're the person who wants to groom children. You want to groom children. Wow. You're the one who wants to force people to be a certain way. Okay. Imagine forcing children to do things. Jesus, Cyber Mentor, what the fuck is your problem? You're a monster. Groomer. You literally are. That's you. You want to force kids to read the Bible in school. How is the left forcing kids to be trans? I mean, my preference versus what I'm forcing people to do is two different things. I would prefer that people not be influenced by religion, yes. But I'm not going to tell them that they can't practice religion. And I'm not going to teach them to not have religion in school. That's your problem. That's you as a groomer. That's your problem. I did answer the question. I would prefer that people have no religion, but I'm not going to teach them to have no religion in school. I would prefer that society not have religion, but I'm not going to teach them not to do that in school. When it comes to the government teaching children, I'm not going to teach them not to do it. Outside of school, I would be happy to teach people the flaws of religion. Well, that's absolutely not true, Cyber Mentor. Wow. Without religion, does human suffering exist? Because listen. Alright, coward, I'll listen. Alright, groomer, I'll listen. No, then you don't know what a religion is. A religion requires faith, and a faith is the belief in something without evidence for it. That is literally how the Bible talks about faith. It is, despite having no evidence, continuing to believe anyway. Alright, Groomer, how is the left grooming children to be trans in school? I don't believe that there is nothing higher, I just don't believe there is something higher. Those are two different ideas. I don't believe in something higher, I don't believe there is nothing higher. That's two different things. Can you wrap your head around the difference between those two things? Because that should probably be your first step before you continue talking about concepts like this. I don't think Catholics are bad people. I think they are fooled people. I regret the things that they accept as true without a basis for it. Cyber has just reinvented Satanic Panic, but somehow managed to make it even dumber. In the age of the Epstein files, you can't tell me there is a god. Or support the guy protecting the pedophiles. I won't be mad at you for it, so why being so against it? Because you're trying to force it on children, Groomer. But problem, Genghis Khan, is I don't think that Catholics believe that to be true. I wouldn't say that I would say that all MAGA are fascist. I wouldn't say all MAGA are bad people. I think a lot of them are just fooled people. Forcing LGBTQ books in school and trans books in elementary school. What are these books? Cyber Mentor, do you know one? Name a book. I mean, if you went for the Bible, you're immediately getting into incest territory. So, like, if the book you name is the Bible, then you immediately have a questionably moral book. Didn't this whole entire conversation start around Jeffrey Epstein, with many other countries cracking down on all kinds of elites and about to bring down the hammer in many of them? Like, listen, I could easily do a whataboutism and say, like, why isn't Donald Trump, like, why is Donald Trump going to such lengths to protect the pedophiles, the Epstein files? Why is the executive branch going to such great lengths to censor Donald Trump's name in the Epstein files? But the question was about the left and Epstein, so I won't whataboutism it. I'll stick with it. Wait, you are against incest? Yes, I am against incest. Are you not, Groomer? Oh, sorry, Maddie. Sorry, but weren't the Catholic implicated in the biggest child abuse scandal in recent history? Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm gonna snapshot Cyber Mentor's comment saying, "Wait, you are against incest?" And we'll just we'll share that in the Discord. Great, that's in the Discord now. That's great. Wait, you're against incest? But I'm fine with Ilhan Omar. Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah, cutting part of the context is great. trying to make a point. You've been trying to make a point the whole time, Groomer, but you've been having a hard time with it. So tell me about Ilhan Omar. Oh, God. Jump to conclusions? Okay, where's your evidence that she's married to her brother? This is pretty sick, dude. Cyber? I'm glad you think that I am talkable, Groomer. Where's your evidence that Ilhan Omar is married to her brother? And I'm going to ask for that evidence because without that evidence, I hope you see what that looks like. No, you fucking provide it to me, coward. You give me your evidence. Because if I Google it, I'm not going to find the evidence that you rely on. I'm going to know what evidence you rely on. Yeah. An idiot and a coward and a bigot and a groomer. Let's never forget that Cyber Mentor is self-admittedly a groomer. Then do it. Give me your evidence. Cyber said that she was married to her brother when she immigrated. So first off, I'm going to imagine in my mental space, I'm going to go into my mind palace. I'm going to imagine that you think that she was married to her brother, and I'm going to imagine that you think this is because she was part of some fundamentalist Muslim religious group. And now that she's in America after she immigrated, she is not married to her brother and married to some other person. And you would think that part of her fundamentalist Muslim religious group, she was probably forced to marry her brother, is what I would guess, because women don't have power in this fundamentalist Muslim religious group that you're imagining. And so now that she came to America and isn't married to her brother and is married to some other person, somehow you want that to be a slight against her. Do I have all of that right? Am I understanding your train of logic correctly? Does that make any sense to you? Have you thought this through before? What evidence do you have? No, you can't say a slur. Okay, I'm gonna read all of this except the slur so that your your comment will be read into chat. No, I'm saying you are on the left and she's on your side, and you are here saying incest is wrong while your people are into that, and now you act like, oh, incest is wrong for sure. It's wrong. Yeah, incest is wrong. What evidence do you have that the left is into incest, you insane groomer? Dude, you're the one who wants the Bible in schools. The Bible tells stories about incest. That's your problem, dude. Hey, big surprise, fundamentalist Muslim groups are politically right. They're politically on the right. So incest, hey, what states continue to have child marriage laws, Cyber Mentor? What do you mean I can't say anything? I'm responding to all of your bullshit. No, no one on the left would be mad at me for saying that I'm against incest. No one on the left would be mad at me for this. You know who would be mad if I said that we should eliminate all child marriage laws? The right. The right would be upset about eliminating child marriage laws. Those exist in red states. Cyber's not even American. All right. Shows why they have so little knowledge of any of this stuff. Imagine everyone in this chat being against incest. Wow. Except the guy who wants the Bible in school. The groomer. The Québécois? Well, no wonder that Cyber can't speak English well. Well, no wonder that you can't speak English well. It's not your first language. You're Québécois. Cyronius, the uneducated are everywhere. Oh, not that. That's not what I wanted. No, not that either. I just can't. I can't Discord. It's not working. Sigh. Je suis marié à une Mexicaine pensant que toi. Tu es ici à tous les jours, Christocrate. There are a couple of words in there I don't know. Je croyais que tu lisais pas. No, oh my god. Why is my Control-C, Control-V not working? Okay. I've been married and I quit. I don't know what you're bragging about. Can you... So it's just very clear at this point, Cyber Mentor, that you have no substance behind any of the claims you have about the left. That's it. That's where we're at. Yeah, there was no need to kill Charlie Kirk. Yeah, it's time to rewrite the Constitution. Oh, right. That's what we were supposed to be doing. But it's so late. Okay. Dude, you haven't presented any evidence at all. This whole time, you haven't provided any evidence. It's really not important to have this. I mean, I guess it is important to have this conversation to show you that you don't know anything substantiating your feelings about things. You don't know anything about it. No, you didn't provide any evidence. I asked you to support saying Ilhan Omar was married to her brother, and you didn't have anything. I asked you to give one book that was put in school that was pushing the trans agenda on children. You couldn't do it. I asked you to provide one person that supports everybody being gay, and you couldn't do it. Whoa, brother groomer, get out of here. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. All right, Maddie, just for you, I'm gonna bring up the Constitution shit. Let's go. But first.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Well, Maddie, if you were just kidding about it, I am running tabletop games for kids tomorrow, so I could probably do with some rest. And I will leave myself a note here to do work on Constitution first thing. Work on Constitution. First thing Monday evening. All right, get ready for it, guys. Monday evening, we are going back to redrafting the Constitution to deal with a lot of the problems that the current American Constitution has today. Oh, I need to review X and F's post. Wait, you failed to even connect my mention of that book with your comment about a children's book making people think about... Yeah. Cyber Mentor, I agree there's no point. You should probably just look some of this shit up. That's my suggestion to you. No, you're not going to provide any because you don't use evidence to back up your own personal thoughts. You haven't looked any of this stuff up before. You haven't done it. It's clear. And you can start typing up a response, but I want you to understand, we all can see it. So you can defend yourself. It's not going to change anything. We can see that you don't critically think through these things or look for evidence to support them. Well, you don't ever want to do it, and that's the problem. You obviously care that much. You're the one who comes into people's chats screaming lies about what people's positions are. For some reason, more upset at the left for Epstein than the right. Are you even upset with the right for Epstein? Well, no, I don't support Epstein or side with him on anything that makes him different from other human beings. Well, your point is just insane. So we've come in here. You're saying because I'm pro-life and because I support kids being allowed to be themselves, that means I am on the same page as Epstein. Meanwhile, the right is literally protecting Epstein's ring of pedophiles. And you're the one who wants to force the Bible on people, making you the groomer. No, there's nothing leftist that is in line with Epstein. He's extremely far right. I can say that right extremists are crazy people, but I can say that right extremists are crazy people. Both sides did protect Epstein, but not in the same way. Right now, the right is defying law to protect Epstein. Hey, look, I named a book. Amazing. Can you name a book that's an issue? Is it a children's book? No, nutcase. Defend your own point. I named the book for you. Name a book for me. I have a kid, yes. My kid has talked on stream before. How about you defend your own point, jackass? You fucking coward. I'll believe what's going on in schools when I'm provided evidence of what's happening in schools. You see how that works? Demanding evidence. Because people are taught to complain about shit they don't know anything about, Cybermint, or like Ilhan Omar being married to her brother, which she wasn't, by the way. You just believe insane shit. Like, you think, do you think the 2020 election was stolen? Oh, good, good. I'm glad you at least don't believe that one. Do you believe that Biden had an open border policy? Well, now hold on. Cyber Mentor isn't in here supporting Trump. They haven't said anything in support of Trump. Okay, so you can admit when you don't know something. Can you admit you don't know that Ilhan Omar was married to her brother? Well, he doesn't know where he gets his propaganda from, Shalvis. He doesn't know where it's coming from. Hey, Cyber Mentor, how concerned are you with the Medicaid fraud in Minnesota? Why do you believe she was? Why do you believe she was? I don't assume anyone is married to their brother unless I'm provided with evidence that they are, so why do you assume she was? We'll get to that in a second. I'll ask later. And if you provide me with evidence, I'll believe you. I still don't know why that would be condemnation on her, and she wouldn't be supporting it, and I wouldn't be supporting it. It's hard to prove in both sides because I think most media are corrupt. So why do you think it's true? What have you heard? God, fucking walk me through it, bro. I saw it on Facebook. Actually, I don't think that I... Did I say that she didn't marry her brother? I think I just said that he doesn't know that she married her brother. Wait, XNF, what book are we talking about? I don't remember seeing something about a specific book. What book are we talking about? Oh, genderqueer? I've only heard about genderqueer being present in high school libraries. At which point it isn't being assigned to anybody, it is just a book that kids can read. Like the Bible, like many other things that exist in that age bracket that include sex. Which some books in high school even include sex. Available, sure. But I also think that high schoolers are capable of handling sexual content. Not that you should assign them sexual content, but they should be allowed to read sexual content. That's very normal for high schoolers. Yeah, no shit, Cyber Mentor. Yes, incest is bad. XNF, but no one is making the kids think about genitals. Genderqueer is not being assigned to kids. The availability of a book in the library, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the availability of the Bible in the library is indoctrinating kids into Christianity. I will tell you, if you make kids read it in class, that is indoctrination. That is grooming. Tons of books that high schoolers read that are accessible to high schoolers have sexual content. High schoolers are often engaging in sex. This is normal. Yeah, actually, XNF, no, I do disagree. It is not making kids think about genitals. No, it's not. Wait, why did Lot's daughters have sex with him? Hey, Cyber Mentor, you know what the book does advocate for, though? Sex slavery of children. How about that one, though? Where God instructs his people to take sex slaves that are children. Great book. Great values. Yeah, X and F. Okay, we're talking about the book. What's the problem with the book? Oh no, not the Old Testament, not the thing that modern Christians think is part of the holy text, that it can do no wrong and flows from the same God who is unchanging and morally objective. Is it the same God or not, Cyber Mentor? I know Gnostic Christians don't believe it is. Gnostic Christians believe the Old Testament God is evil. Yes, okay, so it's the same God with the same morals who... Yeah, he did. What a piece of shit. Yahweh kind of sucks, doesn't he? But X and F, at this point, I am disagreeing that it is making kids think about genitals. In the sense that maybe they weren't thinking about genitals 3 minutes ago, but now they are because it's in the book. Then sure. But they were already thinking about genitals. He was furious. Yes, I don't disagree with you, but he said something too. Yahweh was a piece of shit, but he did say something. Yeah, it's not a children's book. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Yeah, what an asshole. Yahweh's a real piece of shit. Okay, good. So are we going to stop advocating for the Bible being taught in school? Thank you, Shalvis. This is very helpful. Have you ever played Elder Scrolls? What? God, the bears bit is like my favorite verse. I told my MAGA coworker about God's God smiting children with bears, and she was like, "That's not in there." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And we looked it up, and she sat there dumbfounded, staring at her computer screen for a few minutes. Yahweh's a real asshole. Thank you, God, for getting the children to stop making fun of my bald head. So, Cyber, we are on the same page. We should not be advocating for teaching the Bible in school. Correct? And Yahweh is an asshole, but you're going to continue to worship him, or... What makes Christian school a good thing? If their God is advocating for child sex slavery, advocating for genocide, advocating for slavery in general, I understand your point. I don't understand why you have that point of view. I'm not instructing kids to be this way. I don't advocate for instructing kids to be that way. You're going to have a hard time finding any substantial portion of the left that advocates for but you're going to have a hard time finding a substantial part of the left that advocates for instructing kids to be a certain way. It is not. It's not doing that, Cyber Mentor. It is not a common position of the left to instruct children to be a certain way. It is merely trying to teach kids that the kids that are like that are okay and should be treated just like other kids. What a radical position. Cyber Mentor, that's only because what people are hearing is filtered through this right-wing propaganda about untrue things. The left wing does not support making kids be a certain way. No, y'all just don't fucking understand things. Like, we have to twist arms to try to get you to take a second to actually think about leftist positions. Y'all hear, let's not deport everybody right away and think, oh, well, then you don't want border security. No, those are two different ideas entirely. Mass amnesty versus not having border patrol, like two different things. Exactly what? As later, I'm going to agree with you on the first one. A lot of people would agree that trans kids should have HRT, access to HRT. I think the majority position is that they should just have puberty blockers, not HRT. But then the second point about having their genitalia cut off, no, you're not going to find a lot of people on the left that think kids should have that done. That's not true. They are fascists for doing that, yes. Not Nazis, they are fascists. They were doing what before? Deporting people? I'm not opposed to deporting people in general. If someone commits a crime and they are not a legal citizen, deporting should be on the table for what to do with that person. I'm not saying they should be deported in all cases. So not every crime is worthy of removing someone. Cyber Mentor, that's not what's happening. That's the problem. That's the problem. Using the term degenerates is gross as fuck. Some extremists are trying to not allow any... That's not true, Cyber Mentor! What the fuck are you talking about? Cyber Mentor, you are a victim of constant propaganda. You don't know what the left thinks. You only get your idea of what the left thinks from the radical right. That's it. Period. Cyber Mentor, pushing a policy to do mass deportation that explicitly violates people's rights, that ends in the deaths of American citizens, is too much. That is not a permissible not a permissible mistake. No, if you're supporting that, then you're supporting the removal of rights. We cannot simply disagree. At that point, I will tell you you're a monster. Manipulate you? What the fuck? How am I manipulating you? Well, one, that I'm manipulating you. Another thing you said wrong was that they're making mistakes. These aren't mistakes. These are violations of human rights and constitutional rights and the law. Can you tell me in what cases of deportations prior to Trump did they result in the public executions of American citizens? That's not the same thing as what you said. Saying some extremists are trying not to allow any of it is different from some people are defending illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. Here's my take. I think a kid should be mature first before he makes any life-changing decisions. Great, so you support puberty blockers, right? When I was a kid, I would do everything my friend would do because I thought he was cool. Had HRT been available, well, let's stop talking about HRT. How about puberty blockers? You would be in support of kids being allowed to take puberty blockers, yes? What two stories am I mixing? Yeah, killing Alex Preddy and Renee Good are crimes. They are public executions. They are violations of the of executive power. They are violations of constitutional checks and balances, violations of constitutional rights of American citizens. They are violations of human rights. Slater supports puberty blockers. Let's go. Imagine using personal anecdotes like that to... Why are we injecting drugs into kids in the first place? Just let them mature first. Then if they want, they can do as many surgeries and drugs as they want. You said that they shouldn't make life-changing decisions until they're mature. So you support them taking puberty blockers. Right? ICE is one thing. Even if she was protesting ICE, that's her right. But she didn't try to run over an officer. That's a silly thing to say. By mistake, and it's not the first time cop kill on site, even during Biden and any administration. We can't judge one person's actions to the entire idea of deporting bad people. No one is opposed to deporting bad people. The left isn't opposed to deporting bad people. That's not what's happening. You are just a slave to propaganda. You have been taught to be uncritical in your thinking. Imagine me, a lawyer, talking about constitutional rights. Wow. I had the honor of learning under 3 of the most esteemed constitutional law scholars in the country. They're all badasses. And I wish I could sit in on more of their classes. It's necessary. Puberty blockers is a drug. Can you guarantee 100% risk-free and won't have side effects in the future? We don't have that standard for any drugs, Later. That is not a standard for any drug, even those for children. But what you want to do is to make them make a one-time life decision they can't take back before they're an adult. You want them to, as a child, make a lifetime decision. That's what you want. What's basic constitutional case law, XNF? What you got for me? Like I said, I think he shouldn't have shot her personally. Same thing with the other guy, and I said that it happened because it does tarnish my views. Are you going to apply the same mistake that if it's my views? What? Your track history tested on adults. You are injecting a new drug. It's not a new drug. It's an old drug. You don't know what you're talking about, ass later. Like the First Amendment only being about government force? The First Amendment is about state force against free speech. That's what the First Amendment is about. What do you have for me that says otherwise? What? I didn't say that, ass later. I don't think that, like, acne medication is on the same level of necessity as vaccines, but I would let kids take acne medicine. All right, guys, I'm gonna give this like 10 more minutes at most. I have to deal with like 4 8 to 10-year-olds tomorrow, and it's gonna be exhausting. Government influence of speech? Only force. Well, what do you mean by government influence of speech? What do you mean? I said I support many things on Trump and other not. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. We can't. Well, Cyber, I'm not sitting here saying you're saying things about Trump that you didn't say. XNF, you said basic constitutional case law. Please point me to a case that talks about what you're talking about. We have a ton of history on puberty blockers too, ass later. We do. They're decades old. What's the case law, XNF? Ask later. All medicines have side effects. What a joke. Cyber Mentor, the problem is that the right is defiant of what reality is. They say things that are not factually correct. Okay. What about acne medicine, ass later? And actually, if, as we have seen, an alternative to not getting treatment is a higher rate of suicidality, then yeah, maybe it is a necessity. Ask later, would you disagree that the best treatment for like being a transgender person or that gender dysmorphia or just not just dysmorphia, dysphoria, gender dysphoria, would you disagree that the best treatment is transition? X and F, goddamn, just give me the fucking case. Because I want to know what you're talking about. I'm not backing off that position. I want to know what case law you're talking about. No. Oh, so you just disagree with science. You're just opposed to science. Great. Bantam v. Sullivan. Okay, great. Let's look at Bantam v. Sullivan. Okay, this is about a system of informal censorship. How did they determine informal censorship? What Rhode Island has done, in fact, has been to subject the distribution of publications to a system of prior administrative restraints, since the Commission is not a judicial body and its decisions to list particular publications as objectionable do not follow judicial determinations that such publications may lawfully be banned. Any system of prior restraints of expression comes to this court bearing a heavy presumption against its constitutional validity. Okay, we're prior restraint. Okay, well. The Commission's operation is a form of effective state regulation superimposed upon the state's criminal regulation of obscenity and making such regulation largely unnecessary, and thus obviating the need to employ criminal sanctions. The state has at the same time eliminated the safeguards of the criminal process. Criminal sanctions may be applied only after a determination of obscenity has been made in a criminal trial hedged about with the procedural safeguards of the criminal process. The Commission's practice is in striking contrast in that it provides no safeguards whatever against the suppression of non-obscene and therefore constitutionally protected matter. It is a form of regulation that creates hazards to protected freedoms markedly great. I'm gonna have to read more thoroughly. Re-ask your question. I asked, would you agree that the best treatment for gender dysphoria is transition? Would you agree? All right, I'm going to bring this up on screen while I'm reading it so people can see what I'm reading. Okay. Oh boy. So far, this looks like it's something more than just a request. But you don't agree with researchers or organizations that focus on this, that it would be the truth for kids less, like, earlier than 16. The Rhode Island legislature created the Rhode Island Commission to encourage morality in youth, whose members and executive secretary are the appellees herein, and give the commission, inter alia, the duty to educate the public concerning any book, picture, pamphlet, ballad, printed paper, or other thing containing obscene, indecent, or impure language, or manifestly tending to the corruption of the youth as defined in sections 13, 47, 48, and 49 of Chapter 610 of the General Laws as amended, and to investigate and recommend the prosecution of all violations of said sections. The appellants brought this action in the Superior Court of Rhode Island to declare the law creating the Commission in violation of the First and 14th Amendments, and to declare unconstitutional and enjoin the acts and practices of the appellees thereunder. The Superior Court declined to declare the law creating the Commission unconstitutional on its face, but granted the appellants an injunction against the facts and practices of the appellees in performance of their duties. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island affirmed the Superior Court with respect to appellants' first prayer, but reversed the grant of injunctive relief. Appellants are 4 New York publishers of paperback books, which have for some time been widely distributed in Rhode Island. Max Silverstein and Sons is the exclusive wholesale distributor of appellants' publications throughout most of the state. The Commission's practice has been to notify a distributor on official Commission stationery that certain designated books or magazines distributed by him had been reviewed by the commission and had been declared by a majority of its members to be objectionable for sale, distribution, or display to use under 18 years of age. Silverstein had received at least 35 such notices at the time the suit was brought. XNF, what the fuck? This is literally about government force. I don't agree with anything that has potential side effects for a kid and is not necessary. Not a necessity. They're saying... God damn, dude. So you're anti-science. Got it. Okay. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? To investigate and to recommend the prosecution of all violations of said sections. That's government force. So by instituting creating a commission that is said to determine the propriety of certain content and books being distributed to the public, and then saying that they were to recommend prosecutions, then them going out and telling publishers that certain publications violated that speech is a threat of government force. So ask later, you're just anti-science. It's fine. You can say it. That's fine. Ask later, again, I'm not putting them in the same category. You just think things have to be necessary by your requirement for them to be an option for kids. Yeah, Aslater doesn't want to ask pediatricians, don't want to ask psychologists, psychiatrists, what's the fucking endocrinologists? Aslater doesn't care. Doesn't care about science, doesn't care about experts. Just has a vibe. And Aslater wants to force kids to go through a specific puberty. Way to go, Aslater. Way to force things on children. Investigations and recommendations are forced, but investigations and recommendations by the FBI on Twitter are not. Investigations and recommendations and what, XNF? You're missing the key term here. XNF thinking they're like killing it over here. Because there are negatives to every medication, Aslater. And all of the experts say this is the recommended path for trans children. You do not care. Cybermentor, you can say that his views are valid if he thinks they are, but that doesn't make them not anti-science. They are anti-science views. There shouldn't be a path for a kid to be trans. Well, hate to break it to you, Cyber. Some kids are just trans. Trans kids are just trans. There isn't a path for them. They just are trans. You don't become trans. You just are trans. Aslater, the question is a balancing. Are the side effects worth the benefits? And in the case of trans kids, yes. Time to beat the homo out of the sexual next. Oh, Revolutions, welcome. Sorry, I'm dealing with some very disappointing people in chat tonight. You become trans by being instructed. That is a possibility by the book the left is putting in their library. No, you don't become trans. I'm sorry, Cyber, that's just not how it works. That just means you have a misunderstanding of how this works. Cyber, kids can't choose if they're trans or not. They just are trans. Most kids have a self-gender concept by the time they're 4 years old. Your gender concept is formed in the early stages of life, and it doesn't generally change. You may not have a good idea of what it is until later, but that doesn't mean you don't already have it. I feel like X and F just kind of fucked off. Shut up real hard. Gender is not sex. Have they not figured that out? Some people... Oh, dude, there are so many people on the right that think that people who are transgender are making a claim about biology. And they are not. If that's confusing anyone in chat, people who are trans are not making any claim about their biology at all. X and F, do you see this word? Do you see that word? You are legally illiterate. I'm sorry, dude. Clearly not, because a kid could mature mentally and regret the puberty blockers. What then? Do you care about the kid who went through the the puberty for the sex that they would go through without puberty blockers and regret that? You don't care about them. You don't care about them. There's so many variables to think about, and for you to think puberty blockers is good for kids is really ignorant of science. Actually, no, it's not, Alice Aslater. You don't know the science. You don't support the science in this. Oh, again, Nazi, shut the fuck up. It's so extremist for no reason. Aslater, you are forcing children to go through a puberty that they would not wish for themselves. That's what you're doing. And there's a term that we use for other acts, like where somebody forces something upon somebody with their body that they don't want. I would say these things are pretty related. Comparable. I wouldn't call it the same word, but I would say it's comparable. What you are wanting to do to these children. Oh, but wait, hold on. Can people take puberty blockers and then regret it in the future? But they're allowed to know what they want? Trans kids just aren't allowed to know what they want. Aslater, it's not a kid saying it. The kid is saying it with a parent, with an endocrinologist, with a psychologist, with a therapist, with a psychiatrist. It takes a team of people to go through these decisions. It's not a stupid argument, Aslater. You are forcing these children to do something. Let the kid, let the kid do the thing you're forcing them to do first. Let Aslater force a kid to go through a certain puberty. Fuck you, kid. I want to make sure your body's changing in certain ways. Fuck you, kid. I want to make sure that... I'm not going to go through all the specifics, but you can imagine me going through the specifics of what you want a child's body to do. It's pretty fucked up, Aslater. I'm not dumb. You're fucked in the head. You should stop thinking about kids' balls dropping, Aslater. That's what you should stop doing. If they are another gender, why does their body evolve in the other gender? See, Cyber Mentor, here's the thing that you don't actually understand. Gender doesn't have to do with biology. You can be another gender and not change your biology at all. And Cyber Mentor, now you're anti-science because being transgender isn't a mental illness. That's anti-scientific. But kids can have gender dysphoria, which is different from being transgender. Natural order of things. Ooh, listen to this guy over here. Now we're getting to some Nazi speech. There we go. The natural order. What the fuck? So, do you want kids with cancer to die? That's the natural order. Cyber Mentor. All right, Cyber Mentor, is it the natural order for some people to be gay? We're talking about transgender kids in here, Maddie. Welcome to the parade of the ignorant. Everyone, well, not if you take puberty blockers your whole life. But you want to force them to go through a specific puberty, ass later. You want to go through pubertal rape. That's you. You're a pubertal rapist. I'll fucking say it, you pubertal rapist. Cyber Mentor, that's not an argument, dude. Wait, you didn't answer the question. Cyber Mentor, is being gay part of the natural order? Okay. So is kids having acne part of the natural order, ass later? Is kids being short-sighted part of the natural order, ass later? So, being gay is a disease and a sin and part of the natural order? God damn, you people are so confusing. I'm not saying people shouldn't go through puberty, ass later. You just want to force them to go through a specific one. Ass later over here forcing themselves on kids. It's fucked up. I think we need to normalize the term pubertal rapist. Forcing them to make decisions for their body. You are forcing the... Listen, kid. You can't fucking wear glasses. Fuck you. But, Cyber Mentor, is it part of the natural process? Is it part of the natural order of things to be gay? I feel like you keep not answering the question. It's a sin, it's a disease. Okay, is it part of the natural order? Is it part of the natural order? Why are you afraid of this question? I don't get it. You have to go get the puberty blockers because his friend convinced him he might want to be a female in the future? No, no one ever said that. What are you talking about? But should a parent, if their kid agrees, should a parent and his doctor and his endocrinologist and his psychiatrist and his therapist be allowed to get him those puberty blockers? Is it your argument that they shouldn't? Cyber Mentor, is being gay part of the natural order? Ah, so you don't fucking care. The kid doesn't know what he wants. But their parent and their endocrinologist and their pediatrician and their psychiatrist and their therapist, none of these people know what the fuck they're doing. Fuck them. I hate science too, dude. It is not part of the natural order, but earlier, Cyber Mentor, you said people should be allowed to be gay. So we're okay with things that are not part of the natural order. God is the only way for me. Your genocidal, child sex slavery supporting God, the one you agree supports those things. So how about trans people, Cyber Mentor? You will help me worship your genocidal war god. Wow. Amazing. That's not the question, Aslater. It's whether or not you would support the ones who do support this idea that is the general consensus for what is the right thing to do. Among organizations of professionals, this is the best way to treat these kids. I haven't read all the Bible. I've read the majority of the Bible, but I know he's a genocidal maniac. Huh, given your title, I didn't expect that comment walking in. This should be interesting. Also, hi, first, welcome, Rambo Commando. I'm usually not this combative, but we've got some real characters in chat tonight. Especially like Cyber Mentor came in real strong, and when invited multiple times to come up to chat, they did not want to chat. They just wanted to be a coward in the chat, the typed chat. A lot of researchers asked later, you want to provide me some of that, some of the basis for your comment there? Dude, Aslater, I don't give a fuck whether it's on the same level as a vaccine. If it is beneficial to kids, I want them to be allowed to access it. No, you're fine. I'm personally no party affiliated, but used to be heavy dim, currently centrist outside of political. Dude, I don't use the word centrist with me. I am currently of the opinion that if you're in American politics, if you're talking about American politics, there is no such thing as centrism. Centrism, if we're talking about the Overton window, the centrism is so far right that it's just kind of silly to call it centrist. Is it beneficial to kids? It is beneficial to kids. Then kids should be allowed to use it with the right support that is recommending it. Now you, on the other hand, want to pubescently rape children by forcing a certain puberty on them when it is a one that they would regret and can't take back. Cyber Mentor, I've got people in this chat who are happy to go back and quote passages to you all over again. Do we want to go back to God commanding the enslavement for sex of children? Do we want to go back to him commanding genocides? Hey, specifically for one that you brought up in your first comment in tonight's chats, do we want to go back to God commanding abortions? You want to do that one? Because God demands abortions. He sure does. How long has what been going? It's been too long, honestly. Oh, let's get the verse. Oh boy. Hold on, wait, before I find the verse. If God commands abortions, do you suddenly become pro-choice? No. Before you do, don't be a coward, Cyber Mentor. If God commanded abortions, would you be pro-choice? We are using the Christian Bible. Cyber Mentor wants a Christian Bible taught in schools. Okay. And do you use that as the basis for what you believe in? How do you... Okay. Well, maybe you should see the light, brother, and actually follow the Christian God. This is the God you believe in. It's what he has commanded. What God do you believe in? How do you determine what God you believe in at all? Yes, Catholics are Christians, as are Gnostic Christians, which are just the most fun kind of Christian. Christians who believe that Yahweh is evil? Let's go. Christian Jesus Christ, hello? Yes? Cyber Mentor, Catholics believe in Christ. What are you talking about? Oh. No, not here. That's not. Christians are Protestant? No, Cyber Mentor, Protestants are Protestant. They're Protestant Christians. Protestant Christians, Catholic Christians, Orthodox Christians, Gnostic Christians. Protestants are such a small group of Christians. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Cyber Mentor, what does it take to believe in, to be a Christian? What are you talking about? Oh, that's not. Cyber Mentor, that is just so uneducated of you to say. Liddy Bruce, he doesn't accept all things. She won't go by an official's consensus since you don't link anything. Hey, ask later. Calm down. I'm getting to you. Calm down. Cyber Mentor, yes, if you think only Protestants are Christian. Cyber Mentor, what you just fucking said doesn't even make any sense. You said, I'm the uneducated one, right? You're the guy who thinks kids should. Who wants. Which is not even a, like that's a prescriptive statement, not even like a statement of whether things are, like someone's educated or not. That didn't even make sense. You did, you said Christians are Protestants. You said Christians are Protestants. That means only Protestants are Christian. Did you drink the Kool-Aid? Depends on what you're talking about, I guess. Cyber, do you differentiate between wanting trans people everywhere and just allowing people to be trans? Do you... Okay, I guess bye, dude. Damn. Wow, we got a lot of people coming in suddenly. Why are you using MAGA as a verb in the title? Okay, that's just a silly thing to argue. Anything can be made into a verb. Okay, who was I talking with? Asslater. Okay, Asslater, I agree that the WHO is currently in the process of deciding whether or not it will issue trans care guidance. Where'd that go? It announced plans to issue a transgender clinical practice guideline and was drawing heavily on WPATH, and you know, WPATH has a pretty clear system. The Endocrine Society, the American Academy of Pediatrics, American Medical Association, American Psychiatric Association, American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, among others. Well, then the answer to the question of why is just because I thought it would be a simple and artful way to get my point across. Rather than to say to embrace the ideals of MAGA, to support MAGA, it's just shorter to say to MAGA is to hate, and then it has a parallelism in the use of the words. Because the left can't separate what is or was MAGA from just standard conservatives, which is very concerning. Wait, who's doing that? What's up? I don't align conservatives with MAGA, and MAGA itself isn't conservative, so... MAGA is extremist, not conservative. Anyway, I gotta start wrapping it up, people. I have to get rest. I was supposed to wrap it up 30 minutes ago. I have to have enough energy in me to run tabletop gaming for 10-year-olds tomorrow. And Anyway. Wish I could post images in Twitch chat. Okay, so I'm going to do my usual wrap up. I'm glad all these new people are here. I appreciate you being here, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest. I hope you had a wonderful night. I'm Know Nothing Attorney. I'm also known as Austin. My main push here is that we need a constitutional convention to fix all the shit that's wrong with the Constitution in the United States. Otherwise, you can't fix anything. You have to, as much as we hate the idea of it, we have to have a constitutional convention. Anyway, as my usual sign off, I'm Know Nothing Attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. Because it's only in embracing that we know nothing that we can actually learn anything. And that's what I aim to do every time that we're live. I want to learn from you guys. And I hope that you can learn by working alongside me. And the organizations that support puberty blockers are tainted with... Okay, wow. Good shit, ask later. Okay. You're welcome to support that in the Discord. I'll post the Discord again before I go. I need to get a permanent Discord link. That's in the works. And then the second half of my usual sign-off. I'm proud of you. I don't need to know you personally for that to be true. It's real, and you deserve to hear it. If only because life is hard, it's always been hard, and it always will be hard. But the way you face each and every single day the way you do is remarkable. So stay remarkable, and I'll see you Monday night. Be in my next stream. Good night, everybody. I am proud of you. I love you guys. Good night.